Road Trip from 2000 is quite a delight, actually. I know that it's a really raunchy. There's a lot of sex and nudity, and yeah, it's one of those teens and it's one of those high school college things that it's really meant for. But director Todd Phillips, he's able to make films really enjoyable, and this movie's heart is definitely in the right place. If the movie didn't have a whole lot of heart to it, it would have been just another pointless American Pie ripoff that totally stunk. Good thing is, this movie isn't. I love this film. It's really awesome. In 1999, when American Pie came out, it it didn't really spawn much of a genre, but it did spawn quite a few other high school and college um, target audience gross out films, gross out comedies, actually. With one of the best ones being Road Trip. Yeah, Road Trip is it is hilarious, but also with me, I guess you could say I'm a little bit biased towards road films. I think that if they're done right, then they really can't lose. They're just so fun, so enjoyable. The predictability factor in those is kind of low in road films. You never know who you're going to meet, and really get to see a bigger landscape of where you are, and the sense of discovery is also quite high in road films. So yeah, that's another reason why I kind of champion this film. So the movie it mostly takes place in a flashback. Tom Green, Canada's own Tom Green, plays a man named Barry who goes to Ithaca University in New York, and he's a tour guide. He's giving a tour of the university, and he tries to sell it by telling a story about a road trip that happened with a couple of friends of his from the year before. And that's really the bulk of the film is his friends from the year before, and really what the whole movie is about. So Breckenmeyer plays a dude named Josh Parker, and he's been best friends with this girl named Tiffany his entire life, and eventually grew to romance. But she goes to school in Austin, Texas, and he goes to school in Ithaca, New York. They call each other all the time, and he's being pressured by his best friend El, who's played by Sean William Scott, into breaking monogamy. They're different states, almost at polar opposite places. So like he likes to say that because they live so far apart that the rules don't really apply to them, rules of cheating and everything. That there's loopholes. So one day, Josh just caves. He gets drunk and he sleeps with this very very beautiful classmate of his, who's played by Amy Smart. And like a dope, he films it. He's drunk. His roommate Ruben, who's played by Paulo Costanzo, another Canadian, mails the videotape to Tiffany. She's at a funeral and won't be back for almost a full week. So that gives Josh a few days to drive down there, retrieve the tape before Tiffany gets anything. So El and Ruben accompany Josh, and they get their geeky neighbor Kyle, who's played by DJ Qualls, to to use his car to drive. So the four guys, they head off on a trip to Austin to get the tape, and Barry, who's also really good friends with Josh, stays back, and he really wants to see Josh's pet snake eat a mouse. That's just a stupid subplot, but it's just so funny. There's another subplot which involves Josh being rivals with the TA, who's played by Anthony Rapp, and um, so Anthony Rapp tells Josh that he has an extension on his ancient philosophy exam, but he actually doesn't. So yeah, there's that subplot. But yeah, what I really love about this, and it goes just the same for a bunch of other road films, is the sense of discovery and constantly seeing and meeting new people, new things. And as I said before, the predictability is also low. I just wanted to reinforce that. I know I already said it, but whatever. And the characters are also funny and relatable too. You have Josh, he's a cool dude and everything, a typical Breckenmeyer sort. And Sean William Scott, who plays EL, he's basically Stifler from American Pie. I know that this was made in the time, like just after American Pie, when it spawned all these similar kinds of films. One could say that EL is basically Stifler's cousin. He's part of the Stifler family because that's basically because Sean William Scott got typecast afterwards, and yeah, in the movie he's basically Stifler. Ruben has high intellect. He's a stoner and just an all around cool dude. I really liked the Ruben character. And Kyle is a total geek, and he really wants to get laid and just have a good time, be cool. And he has a rocky relationship with his father, who's really strict about everything. And you can't forget Tom Green, sorry, who just plays his usual weird self. Basically an even crazier Pauly Shore of his generation. Pauly Shore is fizzling out at this time, and Tom Green, sorry, really took over for the whole teenage, early 20s weirdo. But yeah, the characters are really relatable. They're not cardboard cutouts of anybody that we've seen in the past. I mean, like, you can kind of draw relations to other inspirations. Like, as I said, EL is a lot like Stifler, but you can also see a little bit of EL as an original character too. And Kyle, who's also a total geek, you can also see someone original in that Kyle character. Now, is this movie perfect? No. It doesn't really reach the highs of some other road trip comedies. And you know what? That's fine. That's totally fine. I really didn't mind that at all. So, yeah, I just really enjoyed this film. It always brings a smile to my face. It's very, very delightful. And I'm going to give this movie 3.5 stars out of 4.